The Bold and the Beautiful. The shocking truth behind Luna's baby in one of the most explosive turns in The Bold and the Beautiful's recent storyline. The veil has finally been lifted. The baby Luna is carrying is not Will's. The revelation sent shockwaves through every corner of the storyline, igniting fury, betrayal, and heartbreak in its wake. For weeks, Luna had managed to maintain the illusion that Will, the wealthy and dependable man she had recently grown close to, was the father of her unborn child. But in a moment that will go down as one of the most jaw-dropping scenes of the season, a hidden confrontation with Remy revealed the truth, and Will was there to hear every word. The scene begins innocently enough. Luna receives a cryptic message from Remy, the man she has been carefully avoiding for weeks. Against her better judgment, she agrees to meet him at a discreet location just outside the Forrester estate. She thinks no one will know, that she can get in and out before anything unravels. She doesn't anticipate Will following her. She doesn't know he's already suspicious, already sensing the cracks in her story. As Luna and Remy stand in the dim hallway of the secluded meeting spot, emotions boil over. Remy, visibly agitated, can no longer hold back. His voice rises, echoing with frustration and disbelief. The baby is mine, isn't it? Why are you lying to everyone? Why are you lying to me? Luna, pale and overwhelmed, begins to cry. She begs him to keep his voice down. But it's too late. Behind the nearby door, just out of their line of sight, Will stands frozen. His expression shifts from confusion to horror as the truth crashes down on him. Every word hits him like a blade. He leans closer, barely breathing, listening as Luna, sobbing, confesses that yes, the baby is Remy's. She never meant for things to get this far. She didn't know how to stop once the lie took root. She admits that Will represented stability, security, and a way out. You don't understand, she says to Remy, Will could give me the life I never had. If I told the truth, I'd lose everything, I'd be alone. I might even go to jail. Remy is livid, betrayed. His fists clench at his sides, his voice breaking with rage and pain. He accuses her of using him, of reducing him to nothing more than a secret, a mistake. But beneath his anger lies something deeper, something raw and desperate. We can leave, right now, just us and the baby. Forget Will, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of everything. But Luna shakes her head. Her voice trembles. I can't run. I've already done too much damage. She tells him it's over. She can't lie anymore, but she also can't give Remy what he wants. She's trapped, cornered by the consequences of her own choices. As she speaks, Remy's expression hardens, not with hatred but with a cold resolve. Meanwhile, Will can't take it anymore. He steps into the hallway, his presence sending both Luna and Remy into stunned silence. The look in his eyes is devastating. Not just anger, but betrayal, heartbreak, and the hollow realization that everything he believed in was a lie. So it's true, he says, his voice low and cutting. All of it. Luna breaks down, trying to explain, but Will doesn't want to hear it. His world has just imploded. The woman he thought he might build a life with had been carrying another man's child, deliberately hiding the truth from him. The air between them is thick with pain, the kind that leaves scars. Remy, emboldened, steps forward. She was never yours, Will. You were just the safety net. Will turns to him, fury in his eyes, and for a tense moment, it seems the two men might come to blows. But Will, ever the composed one, simply shakes his head. You deserve each other. And with that, he walks away. But this is The Bold and the Beautiful, and nothing ends cleanly. Will's exit doesn't solve anything, it only sets off a new wave of fallout. Word of the confrontation begins to leak. The Forresters catch wind of it. The whispers start in the corridors. Brooke is the first to confront Luna directly, demanding the truth. Luna, backed into a corner, has no choice but to confess. Her confession triggers a domino effect. Will withdraws from everyone, refusing to take calls, declining events, shutting down emotionally. His trust has been shattered. Meanwhile, Remy begins to press Luna more aggressively, wanting to be part of the baby's life, while Luna continues to spiral, torn between guilt and the looming threat of public disgrace. But there's more. The legal implications of Luna's lie begin to surface. A trusted source reveals that Luna had previously signed legal documents naming Will as the baby's father. Documents that could constitute fraud. Whispers of legal action start to circulate. If Will chooses to retaliate, Luna could actually face charges. Ridge, sensing the scandal could taint the Forrester brand, calls an emergency family meeting. He suggests severing ties with Luna entirely. But Brooke hesitates, she sees a broken woman, not a criminal. Steffi, however, is less forgiving. She demands Luna leave the estate immediately. She doesn't care what Luna's motivations were, lies are lies. As the weeks unfold, the tension only deepens. Remy becomes more involved, staking his claim as the baby's rightful father. He files for paternal rights, launching a custody battle before the baby is even born. He claims Luna is unstable, manipulative, and unfit to raise the child alone. Luna, now isolated and without allies, is forced to fight back with everything she has. Meanwhile, Will's inner circle urges him to speak out. His silence is beginning to look suspicious. Some are wondering if he was complicit in the cover-up. He finally breaks his silence in a stunning public statement. Calm, but pointed, he outlines the betrayal, the deception, and his intent to pursue no further relationship with Luna or the child. That statement goes viral. The media explodes. Luna becomes the center of a very public storm. She can't go anywhere without being hounded by reporters, judged in the press, picked apart on social media. She's vilified, painted as a gold digger, a liar, a woman who tried to trap a rich man with another man's baby. And yet, behind the scandal, behind the headlines, a deeper truth lingers. Luna is scared. She's pregnant, alone, and facing the consequences of her choices. She begins to unravel. She stops attending appointments. She isolates herself in a small apartment outside the city. Remy tries to visit, but she won't let him in. Then comes the medical scare. Luna is rushed to the hospital after collapsing from stress and exhaustion. The baby is in distress. The doctors warn her, if she doesn't take care of herself, she could lose the child. The crisis jolts her into clarity. She makes a decision. No more lies, no more running. She reaches out to Remy. She apologizes for everything, for keeping him in the dark, for using Will, for denying the truth. She tells him she's ready to raise the child, but she wants to do it right. She doesn't want drama. She doesn't want more pain. Remy, still raw from it all, is skeptical, but he agrees to be there, for the child. Not for Luna, not right now. But for the life they've created. It's not a reunion. It's a ceasefire. A fragile understanding that may or may not hold. As for Will, he remains distant. Watching from afar. He won't forget what happened. But maybe, just maybe, there's a part of him that still cares. If not for Luna, then for the innocence of the child who didn't ask for any of this. The story is far from over. The legal fallout, the custody battles, the shifting alliances within the Forrester family, all of it promises more twists, more heartbreak, and more drama. But one thing is certain, the truth about Luna's baby has shattered the lives of everyone involved. And no one will ever be the same. As Luna stepped cautiously through the heavy front doors of the Forrester estate, a wave of tension hit her like a wall. The air inside was thick, too still, too quiet. Her heels clicked against the polished marble as she entered the main room. And that's when she saw them. Everyone was already there. Ridge stood with his arms crossed, jaw tight. Brooke sat tensely on the edge of the sofa, eyes narrowed. Steffi leaned against the mantel, arms folded in cold silence. Even Thomas, usually detached from family drama, looked grim. There were no smiles, no greetings, just silence, and then Will stepped forward. His eyes were darker than Luna had ever seen them. Something in his expression sent a chill down her spine. She opened her mouth to speak, to ask what was going on, but Will beat her to it. You lied to me. You lied to everyone, he shouted, voice echoing through the estate like a thunderclap. That baby isn't mine. Luna froze. Her heart dropped to her stomach. The room spun for a second, her breath catching in her throat. How did he know? She had been so careful, so methodical, even through her guilt. Not once had she slipped. Not once had she admitted the truth. Her lips trembled. Will, what are you talking about? Don't play innocent, he snapped. I heard everything. You and Remy. The truth. The lies. All of it. He turned to the others. I followed her. I heard her admit it with my own ears. The room stirred. A low murmur rose. Luna's eyes widened in disbelief, the shock written across her face. She stumbled back a step. Will had followed her? He had heard her with Remy? Before Luna could respond, Lee stepped into the room. A manila envelope in her hand and a surgical calm in her voice. There's no need for further guessing, she said, walking to the center of the room. We have the results. All eyes turned to her. She held the envelope with a firm grip, as if it weighed more than paper and ink, as if it contained the final nail in the coffin of Luna's secret. Luna's knees went weak. Her breath hitched as Lee opened the envelope, removed the single sheet of paper inside, and scanned it. Then she looked up. The DNA test confirms that Will is not the father. The room exploded. Brooke gasped audibly. Ridge looked away, his face hardening. Steffi scoffed, throwing her hands in the air. Unbelievable, she muttered. Will didn't flinch. He just stared at Luna, his expression unreadable, somewhere between rage and heartbreak. Luna couldn't speak. Her mouth opened but no words came out. Everything she had feared, everything she had tried to avoid, had arrived all at once. And there was no escape. The lie was no longer a secret. It was carved into paper, spoken aloud in front of everyone who mattered. How long were you going to keep this going? Will demanded. Were you ever going to tell me the truth? Or was I just going to raise another man's child while you smiled in my face and played house? I never meant for this to happen, Luna stammered, her voice cracking. I was scared. I didn't want to lose you. You didn't want to lose the life I could give you, Will snapped. Let's call it what it is. Lee stepped in again, trying to stabilize the chaos. What matters now is what we do moving forward. The child isn't mine, Will cut in sharply. So there's nothing more to discuss. He turned and walked out of the room without another word. Luna's hands trembled. She turned to the others but no one moved. No one offered comfort. No one came to her defense. You used my brother, Steffi said coldly. You lied to this entire family. You don't deserve to be under this roof. Ridge finally spoke, his tone like ice. You need to leave, Luna. Immediately. Luna's vision blurred with tears. She wanted to scream, to beg for forgiveness, to explain the fear that had driven her to lie. But no explanation could undo the damage. No words could rewrite the past. So she turned, barely holding herself together, and walked out. The moment the front door closed behind her, the room remained still for a beat. Then Brooke spoke, breaking the silence. There's going to be fallout. Public fallout. We need to manage this before the media finds out. Ridge nodded. We say nothing for now. We protect Will. He's been humiliated enough. But inside, they all knew, this was just the beginning. Outside, Luna stood on the front steps, gasping in the cool air, shaking. Her world had just collapsed in a matter of minutes. And now, she had nowhere to go, no one to turn to except Remy. And Remy would not let this go.
Oh,